Welcome to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show with me, Brenda Hector. I'm a business growth specialist helping business owners to develop themselves and grow their businesses so they can achieve their goals and enjoy the lifestyle they dream of. I'm on a mission to revolutionise the entrepreneurial landscape for women in business. In every episode, I interview someone who has an inspiring story or some great advice for women aiming to start or scale their businesses. If you're new to the show, take a moment to subscribe right now so you don't miss any upcoming episodes, and please check out the previous ones. We have an awesome Facebook community. Just search for Scale Her Up and join in. And today I'm joined by Mary Smith of Relocation Scotland. Mary, thank you so much for coming on the show.
We'll say thank you. We'll see.
I'll be gentle with you, I promise.
Good, good.
So let's start with Relocation Scotland. What is it that you do?
What do? I assist global, it's basically global mobility. And so I look after people moving from overseas into Scotland, even from England into Scotland. So I look after the back of the tenant. I'm there to support the tenant when they start their process of moving to Scotland or moving away from Scotland. Whereas a leasing agent, because I'm not a leasing agent, would be working for the landlord. And I'm there to support the tenant.
Okay.
Okay, it's like the whole package is, before they've even left home, it's like a project basically. And we start in conversation with them long before they've even left their home country. And lots of preparation is done in advance of them arriving here. And we go from housing appointments, school appointments, bank appointments, temporary accommodation set up, meet them at the airport, just be there for them on an ongoing basis until they've settled into their property. Or if they want us for longer than that, we're always at the end of the phone.
That sounds like a really valuable service. Because I can't imagine what it would be like to move country with family, children, pets, furniture to a new country that you're not familiar with the culture, possibly the language. Yeah, it sounds like an amazing support.
I think I moved myself when I was single. I worked for VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas, and I was posted to Zambia at the age of 18 as a teacher.
Wow.
So I was teaching English and domestic science and mothercraft. I didn't know the top end of a baby from the bottom one, so that was a bit difficult to try and teach. So I did that for a year. And then not long after we got married, we were posted to South Africa, Cape Town, and then posted again to, where was it? Australia. And then the last posting was 7 years in Singapore.
So you've been there as the customer that you're supporting, so you know what they need, you know how they're feeling, oh, yeah.
And I think it's not being sympathetic, because I don't think anyone deserves sympathy for being transferred in a job, but you're being empathetic.
Yes.
And I think as long as you can develop the trust between the client and yourselves, then I think that leads to hopefully a successful relocation. And you can think of things before they happen because you've been there yourself.
And with that trust comes honesty and open communication. So they will tell you what they're really feeling and what they really need rather than what they think they should be saying they need.
Correct. And as I say to them, that the properties we're looking at, I don't care what you take. I don't take commission for taking any properties from a leasing agent or a landlord. I'm getting paid by your company to look after you. So it makes no difference to me if you walk into a house and say, no, I could not live with that pink spotted wallpaper or the red carpet, or I just don't like it. The rooms aren't big enough, or the ceiling's too low, or the water pressure isn't strong enough, etc. and it doesn't matter. So they can say those things to me, whereas they probably wouldn't say that to somebody showing them a property from a letting agent, maybe.
So you're hired by the corporate, the company
Yes,
that they're,
yeah.
yeah.
And also individuals as well. We get
Hmm.
quite a lot of international students asking for assistance because they're not allowed to take a property without viewing it. So we have to do the viewings for them on a virtual
Okay.
basis and advise them accordingly.
Before they get here. Okay. Okay, so I would imagine you've met some lots of lovely, interesting people from all corners of the globe then.
Yeah, we have. Amazing. We've always got somewhere to go on holiday. So yeah, we've got good friends in Canada from the time they spent here, and Spain and Australia, Singapore. Yeah, so all over.
Fabulous. So, how long ago did you start the business?
1995, so 30 years ago.
And what was the impetus? What made you start?
In the last 3 years, I'd lived in Singapore. I'd got a bit fed up of just volunteering for everything. I'd volunteered myself out. And I saw a need for some kind of what I hoped was assistance. So we set up a company called Expat Assist. And I did that with an Australian colleague. And so I wasn't so much looking for property as doing the settling in side of things and trying to help people with the medical services and employing a maid and,
So this was in
things that you
Singapore.
wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I didn't really find it easy to find a job. It's very, from what I remember, it was you've been overseas, you've got no experience of anything, you've been having a fun time for the last 7 years, and it was very derogatory. So I did work for Help the Aged for a year as a fundraiser. And then I thought, I do miss what I was doing in Singapore. So I decided to try, see what happened. That's 30 years ago.
So 30, so you're in Aberdeen. Obviously, Aberdeen's has a bit of a up and down economy related to the energy industry. But you'll have seen a lot of peaks and troughs then through 30
Yes,
years.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the worst I've seen it ever, this current period now.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when I first came back, there was lots and lots of expats here. The place was heaving with expats. And gradually, as the years have gone by, they've declined in number. But the senior managers coming in, then the companies tend to request our services so that they're looking after their personnel. And I think that's appreciated by the employees. So they know their company is trying to take care of them, so to speak. But this last period, in fact, since probably the middle of earlier this year, maybe from February onwards, it's been dreadful. And I just don't think companies are moving people because there's so much uncertainty. Nobody's investing. So why would you move people over here? So it's been
Yeah.
tough.
So talk me through the peaks, because how when it was busy, how busy were you? Has it always just been you, or have you had
No,
staff
no.
to help
I
you?
started off in my bedroom, and then eventually it got to the point where I had to take some stuff on. And so we found a small office, worked out of an office. And then gradually I just started getting bigger. So I think at one point I had 12 employees.
Uh-huh.
But since then, things change, the peaks, the troughs, people come, people go. So there's now just four of us.
Okay.
And then, of course, if that changes, then we have to go out and start recruiting again. But it's a very erratic industry because you can't plan. You just get an email or a phone call. Could you give me some assistance? I've got so and so arriving, and which is fine. It's great. But if you get a handful of people arriving all at the same time, could be a bit of a challenge at the
So
moment, anyway.
do you do any marketing? Where do your customers come from? Is it relationships you've built over the last 30 years, or are they new connections, or
I think it's a lot to do with word of mouth and relationships, obviously, that I've developed. I've worked for one oil company since 2000. So that's what, 25 years. And they insist on using me in Scotland. They use somebody else worldwide, but it's me in Scotland, which is quite nice, really. So I'm not very good at marketing. And I guess I have done bits of advertising, but a lot of it's within. I'm a member of the European Relocation Association and the Association of Relocation Professionals, and I'm also the Scottish representative on the TIRA team, which is the International Relocation Association. So it's building up those relationships. So we've got contacts worldwide. So if I've got someone that says, I need some help with moving to Dubai, I can then contact my connections that way, and it's a two-way process.
so the benefit of joining those industry specific bodies, I mean,
Associations, yeah.
yeah, what benefits that brought to you over the years?
I think it's given me, because it's it's a big industry, but it's a small industry. We have global relocation management companies who have big contracts with large businesses, and then they have to outsource to people on the ground. So we're the foot on in the ground, so to speak. So we're the ones that are contacting people directly. So we work a lot for them. It's not as lucrative working for them as it would be if you had your own direct client, and some of them are very much process driven, so you can't think out the box. You've got to do what they say. Whereas if you have direct contacts, you build up a strong relationship, and you learn to be flexible to fit in with that employee or that company. And I guess with being part of these associations, you're kept up to date with all the new rules and regulations and laws, and it keeps you ahead of some of the competition.
The ongoing education in your field, yeah, yeah, and a community, maybe,
Yes, definitely.
yeah, because it can be lonely being in business on your own,
Very
can't it?
lonely.
Yeah.
I think the best community one is TIRA, the International Relocation Association, because it's just one person from each country. So I'm representing Scotland as somebody from England, somebody in the United Arab Emirates, Australia, Korea, Taiwan, everywhere, Japan. There's always somebody that if you go to the regular meetings, which tend to be once a year, but we always have a round table once a month so we can discuss any issues that are going on. And you find, actually, interestingly, but you find that once there's a downturn, it tends to be worldwide in different ways. They may not be experiencing what I'm experiencing, but things are different, and people are looking at saving costs worldwide. So it's good, and people come up with some great ideas, which you can sometimes jump on the back of.
There's something actually about tough times is when people get creative and come up with new ways of doing things, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Have
still
you seen
working
that?
on that.
Tell me about team building then. So you had 12 at the peak, you've got four now. What have been the challenges that you've faced with managing staff and hiring staff? And because that's something that a lot of business owners are very wary of in the beginning.
Yeah, it was an all-female business, which in
Interesting.
some
Okay.
ways has its challenges, because not everybody gets on with everybody. Can be very cliquey sometimes. So it was quite difficult to manage that, I have to say.
You think it would have been easier to manage a team if they'd been
A bit of a
mixed?
mix.
Yeah. So how did you manage
Although I
that?
don't know, because I haven't proved that. Didn't
No.
try it, no, but one assumes. But it could lead to some friction in the office,
Okay.
which is difficult. So you've got to try and manage that. And it's also really difficult recruiting people because people put on a front when they're being interviewed. And then when you're actually in the job, completely different picture. And I don't necessarily, most people now require degrees to get a job, but it's more to do with the personality of the individual and the experience, because you'd rather have somebody who's been there, done that, and got the t-shirt than somebody who's just come out of university and doesn't even know what global mobility means, but it's just working with people. So it's a fine line to get it right. And I have a problem with, I see everybody at face value, so I never look beyond that until it's too late.
That's interesting. I think I do that as I see everybody at face value as well, and I think you should be able to. I
I
think you
think you
should be.
should,
Yeah.
but not everybody sees it that way, I don't think. And I guess I probably don't suffer fools gladly, so I probably am a bit inflexible in that way, possibly.
So would you let people go if they don't fit and
Yeah,
they don't have the right attitude within the organization? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that as well is walking a knife edge. I mean, I've got um an HR group that give us guidance when we need it, but I hate that side of it. I don't like confrontations, and it always comes down to that when there's a problem.
Yeah.
So
What would be your advice then to someone who is finding that they're needing to build a bigger team and are a bit there's something they've not done before? What would be the your three tips, let's say?
I think I'd probably say you need to have good contracts in place. You need somebody who's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I use this company. So, if I've got any issues with HR points, I've got somebody I can always call. And I think I would also probably use an agency that could help me interview people and give me a second point of view rather than it just be me. And I think if you've got someone that's on your side, so to speak, they're much more honest than it's just you making that decision, especially if you
Yeah.
feel lack of confidence. And also, I think probably if they change the workers' rights bill, it's going to be very difficult. But I think somebody really needs 6 months to settle into a job properly. A lot to learn, a lot to pass on. And if you're not going to be able to do that once somebody starts working for you, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. So provide the support they need to learn the job. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
But then if you think it's not right for them to have that honest conversation, but with the new, what's it called, new workers' rights bill, I think they're changing that from, is it 3 months to day one?
There's a lot of rights that would start at day one, I believe. Yes. Yeah.
So
I
that's going to
think,
put off people off employing anyone.
yeah. So just be sure you've got the right person before you bring them on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also from a point of view of starting your own business, I'd been at the doctor's one day and the nurse was asking me what I did and I'd explained. And she said, "Oh, that must be great. You can take off time when you want." And I'm thinking, really? I work till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning most nights. There's so much stuff goes on in the background. And a lot of people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes, especially
Absolutely.
especially if everything's gone very smoothly. The amount of work and stuff that's gone on behind that to get a positive result, people just don't understand. But you can work hours and you've got to be prepared to do that. Whereas it's not, having your own business is not like having a cherry on a cake. You have to put the work in to be able to get the results back.
So was it harder work than you thought it would be?
No, I don't think so because I had done it in Singapore for 3 years. But what was difficult was just getting into the companies that you needed to speak to. That was difficult, especially as a lot of them are based in London
Yeah.
or down south.
Even
So,
further afield, I would imagine.
but no, I wouldn't say it was more difficult than I thought. My father had his own business. So I've been in that environment all my life, really,
So you had an entrepreneurial gene.
probably.
Yeah. What kind of business did your father have?
He had a grocery, delicatessen, and wine business. He started to develop a very strong following for people who were very involved in high end wine. So he'd buy stuff in bond and do all that. And I started working in the shop when I was 11 and could just reach over the counter. So I'd worked, yeah, since I was 11. And because of it being a wine and spirits, as well as food and delicatessen, Christmas was always manic. So we'd
Mm.
work from 8 o'clock in the morning until maybe midnight, 1 o'clock at night. He did free delivery. So we used to have to go around the whole area delivering cans of beer and crates of beer and wine and whatever. And he also did free delivery for groceries. So I used to go with him. And then when I passed my driving test, I used to go on my own. And you'd go and take groceries to people. And then he actually put it in their cupboards for them.
So what did you learn from watching your dad in his business and supporting him? What did you learn from that that you could take to your own business?
He had a very strong customer focus,
I
I
would
would say.
imagine he did if he was putting things in their cupboard for them when in
Yeah.
the part of their
And
free
I
delivery.
suppose all that came with me. And I guess originally it wasn't about making money, it was about helping people. And so he was a bit the same way. And I think my philosophy, I suppose, is you feel if someone's coming here, you want them to have the best opportunity to enjoy the experience. And sometimes they can't because they don't know how to do it. And one of the great things is if you've had a family come in, or I've had a couple of women come who've been very nervous, hadn't
Mhm.
realized how long it took to leave to make the friends they'd just left behind and hadn't known where to start. And to watch them blossom over the 3, 4 years they're here is just fantastic. They've got their own, they've become their own person. And I find that fascinating.
So you stay in touch with them, you support them all the time that they're here, not just to get them settled. Okay.
I don't go and sit in their front room every week, but I'm always on the end of a phone or they know
Mhm.
they can give me a call. And we also look after people when they leave. So, you know, the leases are terminated and we advise them of what's expected of them to leave the house as it should be left in good condition when they leave. So they get their deposit back, basically. So a lot of that's guiding as well. So I'll go around to the house before they leave and go through the property with them and say, you'll get charged for that, or that could be a charge, or you need to make sure you've done this. So they're armed before they leave, so to speak. And it's really
The full,
communicating information.
yeah.
It's a bit like taxman. I get you when you're born, I get you when you go in a coffin. We're at the end of it.
So, Mary, if you could go back and meet 18-year-old Mary, what advice would you give her?
Have more belief in yourself and have more self-confidence and don't be afraid about speaking out, I think.
Is that something that it took Mary a long time to,
Yeah.
yeah?
Confidence, I think, is a big thing. And you can hide it, or you can hide your lack of confidence, but it can still hurt and eat away at you inside.
Yes. That's a great lesson to anyone. That you can hide that your lack of confidence, but it will eat away at you. So what's the tip to stop it eating away at you?
I don't know if I've discovered that yet. I
Me
think,
either. That's why I was asking.
oh, I don't know. I guess if you've got a good network, that can help you. And you've got people that you can talk to, other than family members, people that are in business and understand and whatever. I think that's really quite important. So, yeah, getting involved in networking, getting involved in possibly business support groups if they exist. I don't know.
They definitely do. Yeah. I'm writing some notes there.
They're all very early in the morning, and that's not my best time.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah, I'm sure we can find some that aren't, but yeah. Mary, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask yet?
Don't really know. I don't know.
Anything you would like to
Um,
add to the interview?
no, I think going back further than 18 years, I lost my mum when I was 11, and I was away at boarding school. Boarding school was the thing that gave me all the support I needed. My dad had to bring me and my brother up himself. And I think I grew up a lot faster than most 11-year-olds did.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure
I
you
think that's possibly gave me more confidence than some other 11-year-olds to then go on and start a business. And I remember my father was visiting my home. I don't know what to do. He said, look, you've got three options. You can not do anything, nothing will change. You can try it. And if it works, then it's a success. And if it doesn't, you can always say you tried and you can give it another go in a different direction. And I think those are the three things that really have kept me going.
brilliant lesson to anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that that's I'll work that into the title for your for this episode. That's that's brilliant. Mary, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for
It's
joining
a
me.
pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure. I wasn't too
Yes, it
hard on you,
was.
was I?
No, you weren't. It was a pleasure.
So thank you for listening to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes and join the Facebook community at Scale Her Up. Please connect with me, Brenda Hector, on social media and drop me a message to let me know you're enjoying the podcasts, or even better, pop a review. I'll finish by reminding you that only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are 5 times more likely to scale their business to over £1 million in turnover than women are. When we start and scale our businesses to the same extent as men, it will add 250 billion to the UK economy and provide millions of jobs. Ladies, you can do it and make a massive difference, just like Mary.